All right, looks like we are live now. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Those of you that are here right now, I got 6 of you guys watching. But I just wanted to put together this little quick talk. By the way, I'm now using a green screen, and I know it doesn't look great yet. You can still see the little pixelation around my head. So I don't know if it's my program or if I have to get better at lighting or whatever, but I decided I wanted to kind of have a cool. Right, looks like we are live. And I'm an amateur that didn't mute myself. Also, my background is totally off. There you go. So welcome to Amateur Hour here at Sync My Music. I'm learning this stuff, guys. But a lot of really cool, exciting things are happening with the syndicate right now. We are opening up a new door with a very awesome distribution partner. And we have just completed 2 pretty big commercial opportunities, custom jobs. One was for an international commercial, and the other one was for a domestic commercial. I just found out actually that, why did that turn red? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay attention to my meters here. I found out that I actually got the second opportunity, but obviously all the syndicate members were encouraged to give it a shot, but they ended up going with one of my tracks. I had sent them 2 along. And also for those of you guys that are in the syndicate watching, please, we don't want to share the information as far as the clients who we're working with, what those commercials are. Those are still confidential. So please respect the confidentiality of those arrangements. We're not out of the sort of confidentiality timeline for that. So we can't speak any more on that other than the fact that one was international, one was domestic. And so we're still waiting to hear on the international one. That one's sort of still a hurry up and wait operation, which is very common though in this business. You'll learn that everybody needs music yesterday, and then as soon as you turn it in, you got to wait a week or 2, sometimes longer, to find out who got the gig, who actually got the track. But we are definitely making some big waves. The new distribution partner that we brought on board is very, very impressed with our work, very impressed with our professionalism, impressed with our attention to detail. These are exact quotes and words coming from them. So we are making the right moves, and which brings me to why I wanted to put this video together, which is the title is Make Your Competition Fear You. Because I just released a video in the group talking about how, the other writers on this library we're working with might feel a little bit intimidated right now because this new just force, group of composers came in and took this gig like on day one. Like this wasn't something where we had to kind of, work our way in for a couple of months and then eventually we were given the opportunity to submit to something. It was like day one, they wanted to see what are you guys going to do? He threw us a bone. They said, here you guys go. What can you guys do for us? Well, not only did we completely impress them with the level and number of tracks that we threw in there, but we got the gig. We actually nailed it. So now they think of us as not just a newcomer, but like a legit operation with high quality music, and we can work on on a second's notice. This was a 24-hour gig we had. We ended up actually turning in 7 cues in 24 hours, and we probably had, I'd say 10 or 14 that were like up there. But I'm getting a call now. I don't know if that's somebody I should take or not. So, yeah, I don't think so. I'll see if they leave a voicemail. Sometimes we're kind of in the middle of a couple of gigs here, and sometimes I don't know who these numbers are. So, but anyways, I lost my train of thought now completely. But we've done amazing things as far as just getting ourselves into these situations, and so I'm really, really proud of all my writers and all of us as a team. Like I was telling them, even though I was the one that actually got the sorry guys, I just want to make sure this is not something important. Okay, we'll see if they leave a voicemail. Even though I was the one that got the placement, it was really us as a team that really knocked the socks out of this company, and we're completely, just making new best friends basically in this business, and the kind of friends that we really want to be making friends with. But really, what I want to talk about in this video is about the mindset that you should have when you're approaching working with a new library, working with a new company, working with anybody that you want to work with in the music licensing business. There's really kind of 2 attitudes that you can have when you first submit your music to a library. And before you get your, response back, you really don't know. You don't know if they're going to like it, if they're not going to like it. It's obviously a big risk because you could get rejected, which is going to suck, or you could just get a no response, which is not going to feel good. But whatever happens, you really don't know what's going to be going forward. So when you're putting your music together, when you're putting your pitch together, when you're sort of, and I will eventually show you guys my actual email for what I sent to this company, how I got us into the door, how I made our pitch undeniable. But when you're getting your idea together about how you're going to do this, and when you're sort of developing your attitude and your mindset for when you're going to pitch to somebody, there's really two paths you can go down. One is you can kind of sort of hedge your bets a little bit and kind of hold back and just think, well, maybe I don't, maybe they'll like it. Hopefully they'll like my music, but I don't really know. And I think that's probably where 95, maybe even 99% of you guys are at when you're submitting your tracks to a library. Maybe a few of you aren't, but a lot of us, and I know I definitely was there. That's why I'm not saying like I don't feel those feelings. When I submitted to this company and put us there, I was definitely going through moments of doubt. I was like, I don't know. And it's just human. You're just going to sort of like hedge your bets a little bit and want to like protect yourself from maybe getting disappointed or maybe not getting accepted by them. But what happens is when you adopt that mindset too much and you really start owning that kind of like defeatist attitude, like you're almost preparing yourself for failure. I really do believe that like you are kind of creating that pathway for yourself in your music, the way that you produce your music, in the email that you write, almost like as if your email might come across almost too apologetic, like you're sorry that you're bothering them. There's a lot of those kind of things that can kind of come across in your pitch and your presentation that really just turn people off, just on a subconscious social level. Okay, this has nothing to do with your music, might have nothing to do with anything other than the fact that they just get this vibe like, I don't know if I like this person. I just don't know. They just seem very weak. Like there's something wrong here, right? And if your head is in that space of just self-defeatism and kind of you're ready for defeat, you're ready for somebody to say no to you, a lot of times people can sniff that on your email and they can almost maybe hear it in your music and just the way that you carry yourself and deal with yourself and approach people. They'll be able to feel that. And that's basically that's one option you can take. You can just take the sort of like, well, I don't want to face that rejection. And I know if I do, it's going to feel really bad. So let's just prepare myself for rejection now so that when it does happen, I won't be as disappointed. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it is one approach you can take. And the other approach you can take, even if you haven't ever been accepted by a library and you haven't ever gotten that confidence yet of like, hey, I know that other people in this business like my music and it's been accepted and I have that sort of a ability to know that my music is legit. Like, let's say you don't have that confidence yet and you're kind of brand new. So I totally get it. I will say, though, that it is very obviously with this huge, asterisk here, the very, very big important caveat. Your music needs to be strong and you need to make sure that you're producing high enough quality music before you just send it out and just, think that you're going to get contracts. Obviously, the quality of your music is very, very important. But having the mindset, even if you don't feel it, but faking it like you are believing this is going to work out for you, that you're going to succeed, maybe not in the specific library that you want to land in, but that you have the attitude, the winning attitude, the winning mindset, that you're preparing yourself for success. And at least that's what even if you don't feel it on a gut level and you don't think those kind of thoughts, start saying that stuff out loud to yourself, literally as you're producing a track. Like, this is going to land. This is going to get into a library. This is going to get on TV. I don't know where. Obviously those are the unknowns, but I know that I am focusing on improving my quality. I'm producing my tracks at a level that I'm going to be blowing away the competition. And of course, making my competition afraid that I'm coming in to maybe steal a little bit of their little spot on a library or somewhere like that. Okay. Even if you don't feel that in your gut and you don't have that sort of winning mentality yet, just say it. Just say these things out loud to yourself. Just start, maybe, write it down, put it on the wall next to you. Like, I will succeed. I will get into a library. I will make this my full-time living. It sounds like hocus pocus, guys, but literally it does make a huge difference if you can completely change the way that you think about yourself. A lot of times we don't realize we do this, but we do create, sort of barriers for ourselves and how we think about ourselves and the stories we're telling everybody else and ourselves. Really more about how you're telling the story about yourself. So right now, if you're not doing this full time yet, when people ask you, what do you do? What is your answer for that? Like, what exactly do you say? Like, well, I'm an aspiring music producer, or I'm trying to get into this, or I'm whatever. Those are all ways to describe it. But the other way you could describe it is like, I am a TV film music producer. That's what you are, right? Even if you don't have a placement, even if you don't have a library under your belt, you don't have your first contract, you have nothing under your belt that you could point to and say, yeah, I'm there, I'm in, whatever. Doesn't matter. This is a part of that, like you're faking it until you make it. You are a TV, film, music producer. That's what you are. Everybody started out with no credits. I started out with no credits, of course, you know. In the beginning, though, I was like so determined that I was actually going to make this my full-time living that I had to put that sort of in front of me to say, like, this is absolutely going to be my career. Whatever it takes, I'm going to do this. This is now my career. This is now there's no other option. This has got to be what I'm doing moving forward. So that was my entire worldview for the first, I mean, basically up until now, obviously, but it was definitely, I was faking it in the beginning because I didn't have full-time income and I didn't have a lot of experience. I didn't have a lot of placements. So it took a while to get there, but like, it was this dead set motivation that like, come hell or high water, I am going through this. Like, this is going to be what I'm doing for the rest of my life. Okay. Dead set determination. That really is what it's going to take to get you to that level of doing this full time. And, you know, making your competition fear you, how I'll kind of tie it all into that is that when I'm putting together, let's say a album or a pitch to somebody or producing a track, I want to make it as high quality as I possibly can. Obviously I have limits and I do the best that I can before I'm at, you know, I've got some skills, but I want to make things so high quality and so undeniable that if you're competing against me, you're going to get a little nervous. That's literally my thinking all the time. Like, you have to be ruthless with your work ethic. If you're like right now, my mentality is if you're not partnering with me in some way and you're not working with me in some way, I would be a little nervous if I were you, because like I'm becoming a very formidable force that you don't want to be on the opposite side of. You really want to be in my wave. You want to be working with me and being a part of this really cool thing that we're doing with this group, okay? So this isn't like I'm not really saying this to anybody in particular. There's nobody that I really feel even really is my competition, but that's just where my mind is. Do you understand? Like, that's just where my head is at. It's kind of like you got to put on a little bit of just a gangster hat for a little bit and just be ruthless with your work ethic, with the amount of tracks that you're producing every single week, with the quality of tracks you're producing every week. When you get some feedback on your tracks, going back and going like, I'm going to just completely knock this out and completely redo things or change things or improve my samples or my production quality, whatever it is. Be ruthless with the amount of work and effort that you put into this. I mean, I'm always shocked when I hear people saying like, you know, Jesse, how do you have the time to do your YouTube channel? You do Syndicate, and then you also, like, you know, we had this opportunity where it was basically 24 hours to knock out, you know, some pretty high quality cues. These were not easy cues to do. They took some, you know, a little bit of skill. And I ended up doing two cues in 24 hours, plus uploading some tutorial videos for the Syndicate members, showing them how I was composing my tracks. I even showed them one of my failed tracks. Like, I made a track that didn't even work. It was like I spent an hour or two and it sucked and I just had to wipe it clean and try again. Within 24 hours doing all that work. And people are like, well, how do you do it? I'm like, how do you not do it? That's my question. How are you not putting in this kind of work? Like, where is your head at if you're not putting in this level of effort? You know, I don't think that I'm an unreasonable workaholic. I have a balanced life. I have a family life. I have a social life. I don't do this 24/7. I mean, I do it a lot. You guys know that you make music. You spend a lot of time in your studio. But I definitely don't feel like I'm like hopelessly addicted to this work and I'm unbalanced and I need help. I feel like I have a very, you know, I probably work more than obviously most people, but I don't have a sense that this is like overboard for me. So when people are asking me like, well, how do you do that? And I'm like, how are you not doing that, right? How come you don't have the energy levels to be pursuing this? And especially if you have a daytime job that you hate, right? If you hate the job that you're working at, you probably have some anger and you have some frustration built up in you. I can tell you, you should use that anger. I can tell you that anger, I had that anger. I had an exec at a company that I worked for way back 2007, 2008, who sat me down, and I was just not feeling the company I was working at. He basically sat me down and just said, like, you know, we're noticing you're not working that hard and you're kind of slacking off, and we're just really disappointed that this is how you've decided to, where were his exact words? I know I wrote it down because it got under my skin so bad, but he said something like, you know, we're sorry that you're deciding to throw your career away like this, or that you're deciding to, like, you know, sort of piss your career away like this. So the hidden assumption there was that their company that I was working for was the end all be all of my career, that because my attitude had soured at their company, that like they had sort of decided that like, because I wasn't making them happy, I was going to lose out on a long-term career. You guys have no idea how pissed that made me. That made me so angry. I was so mad. And that's what ended up having me leave that company. But that anger and that fire that I had then for those managers and for that company actually is what I used as my energy for the first 2 years, 3 years of my licensing industry career. I basically was doing a lot of it. Obviously, I love music and I wanted to get started and I was excited. But better believe there was a part of me that had spite. I wanted to prove these jerks wrong. I wanted to show them, you think you know where my career's headed? You think you had any power over what my future was going to be? Let me just show you what's going on. Sure enough, 3 years later, their company collapsed and I'm still going strong. So obviously, you know, the best revenge is living well. And I do believe that. I never went back to them and said anything. But it's great to know now that, like, yeah, they were completely dead wrong. And I used that anger and that spite and that frustration that I had with all those day jobs that I really wasn't digging that much. And I use that every day. Like when I felt like, you know, you guys have those days where you wake up and you're like, I don't really feel like making music. Well, okay, you got that feeling. Okay, own it. You feel demotivated. You don't feel like it. What's your alternative? Going and saying good morning to some boss that you don't really respect that much, you know, helping them get wealthy and making the company wealthier while you still just get your salary or hourly wage. And, you know, maybe there's not that many incentives built into, like, the harder you work, the more you make, as there is in music licensing, right? What is your alternative? So you're not feeling so good about this. Okay, all right, then your alternative is just to keep the status quo. Just keep showing up, keep doing the work that you're doing. Maybe one day you'll get a promotion and a raise, things get a little bit better, I guess, you know, but like, use that. I mean, that frustration and that anger that you feel, that you're like, God, I'm sick of this. Something's got to change. Use that. That's energy, actually, that if you can harness it, it can actually put you on track to do this full time. Okay. So that's really where I wanted to get across to you guys, is that there's a lot of ways you can go about getting into this industry, and there's many different approaches to it. Obviously, you guys know that I'm only teaching you guys what I know. I mean, the path that I went is the path that I know that works, because obviously it's worked for me, and I've shared it with so many other producers, and I'm hearing so many great success stories. In fact, this week I had two. I don't even think they were syndicate members. Told me, two people that just were following me, saying like, Jesse, you know, I've just got my first contract. I got this placed in this library. So this stuff works, guys. It definitely works. And you can definitely get into the industry, you know, following my footsteps, essentially. Now, what's going to keep you in the industry, that's really on you. That's really why I made that last video where it's like, does my stuff really work? Does my syndicate really work? Does my master course? No, none of that stuff does any work. You do all the work, right? That's just the plan. That's just the strategy. That's just guidance. That's mentorship. And it's definitely valuable. I'm not going to undersell myself. What I give is the real goods. I know what this business is about. I know what it takes to succeed. I know what it takes to stay relevant. I know that I stand behind a very solid product and offering and service for you. But you guys know that's not enough. That's really not going to be, you don't sign up for somebody's course and then like, ta-da, you got a career. If it were that easy, I'd probably be a trillionaire if it were really that easy, because you guys would already be having full-time incomes. Obviously, it'd be that simple. You just sign up for something and you're good to go. Obviously, step one is knowing what the hell you're doing, getting some guidance in it, and then once you're in it, now you're ready to go. You're ready to get out there and keep swinging. So that's all I want to say. All right, I've neglected the comments completely. So if you guys have any questions, start posting them. I'll stick around for another 5 or 10 minutes. I do have a voicemail sitting on my phone, though, that I'm a little bit concerned it might be somebody I should actually talk to right away, so I won't stay around for too long. Let's see if there's any questions that I missed while I was chatting out there. So cool. What's up, guys? Chris, you're here. Soul Purpose, what's up? Bill Allen, Vibe Walker, Amityville, I think I got your name right, Amityville. I know that you've been around for a while. How you doing? Nez, what's up? Business is largely attitude, absolutely. Right on, Chris. You're staying motivated. Good, man. Blaney, what's up? Everything is payola. I don't know what you mean by that. Minnow Music. Nah. Okay, cool. So I'm not seeing too many questions. Maybe some more will pop up here in the next couple of minutes while I take a sip of water. How long have I been on here now? Yeah, about 20 minutes. Not that long today. Got a contract coming through today for the new company that we're working with the syndicate. So That's awesome. Oh, and very exciting news. I just also, before I started this, totally forgot till now. Two more members got some placements actually with our current library that we're working with. So I'm going to actually post that to the syndicate soon. So a couple of you guys actually watching here, might be one of you, I don't know. But really, really cool. I can't. I'm more interesting than the meeting you're supposed to be in, dude. You're playing hooky. You're playing digital hooky, man. You got to be careful about that. But that's good. I'm glad that you're enjoying the show, man. Sorry. Hope you're in a productive meeting. Maybe it's gonna do well for you. Oh yeah, this vid is definitely staying on the channel, man. This is a for sure. Yeah, I'm just doing this live because I haven't done one live since I did all those reviews for you guys for the YouTube subscribers a couple months back or whenever that was. So I miss doing more live stuff. We just had literally last 2 weeks have just been crazy. The syndicate members can tell you it's just been nothing but just nonstop opportunities and it's great problems. Hey, we'll never complain about being busy. I love it and it's a lot of fun. But obviously, the more that I do that, the less that I can really do a lot more live stuff on the YouTube stuff. So. Royalty-free samples by B.A. Mac. Can you use those for samples-based hip-hop with syncs and such? Yes. Make sure you get it from a reputable source. Make sure you get one of those end-user license agreements that come with it and that they say, yes, you can use them for commercial purposes. Be very careful with vocal samples and be careful about where you're buying them. There's people that can just put up a website, put up a blog. Hey, these are all cleared. Go ahead, and they sell them to you or even give them to you for free. Meanwhile, they've got copyrighted stuff in there, like Biggie Small stuff in there, Tupac stuff in there, and you just maybe think it's cool. You have no idea. You got to just buy it from reputable places. I always say Splice.com because they're very reputable. I haven't had one issue with any sample that's uncleared there so far, so I feel I have a lot of confidence in them. Don't get paid a dime to recommend them to you guys. I just think they're great, so definitely check those out. Just be careful of where you're getting your stuff. Downloading stuff for free, going to kind of anonymous blogs, you can get yourself in some big trouble doing that one. What do you think of Music Dealer and Music Bed? I don't have any experience with them, so I don't really have much of a opinion on those. Amazing feeling getting on the album. Yeah, man. And I know that I know a couple of you guys that are going to get your first couple of placements here. I'm going to post those. I know we had a couple before, but your first couple of placements, they might not be huge and amazing and oh my gosh, but your first couple of placements do a lot for your confidence. I was just actually talking to our partner that we work with, and he was saying, actually, I'll read his text. I'm not going to give his name, but I will read it because it's like, he put it better than I probably ever could, because we were talking about how he was showing me that some of these members got their first placements, and I was like, you know how much your first placement can do for your motivation and confidence when you're first starting out, because he was saying that it's great to share this obviously as soon as possible, and he said, absolutely, I don't care who it is, no one takes their first placements as being cool. Maybe on the outside, but not on the inside. It's wonderful because you feel like you've just become a part of the fabric that you've been seeing and wanting to be a part of all your life. Those first steps are giant steps. And I said, of course, couldn't have said it better. That's exactly what it is. It's like your whole life you've been feeling like an outsider, and then you get your first placement that's actually airing on TV. And it's like, holy crap, like millions of people just saw my music, just heard my music. Like, it might not be the biggest, it's not in the foreground, it might be the background placement or whatever, but that does a lot for your confidence. It really does sort of get you revved up. And that's really what I kind of do with the syndicate is I sort of I try to give you guys your first steps into this industry to get yourself a first couple of placements up there. The ultimate goal is not to stay with the syndicate the rest of your life and only contribute to our opportunities. And all my guys now can tell you, I'm constantly, hey guys, are you going out there and talking to other libraries? Are you pushing yourselves out there? Are you building your own relationships? You have to get out there and start creating your own power in this industry. But you can get a couple of things built up within the group, and that should give you some confidence and some knowledge about how to do it out in the real world. And that's really what we're doing in the group. It's like with the last two opportunities we have, it was like real world experiences of what happens in this business. All right, guys, here's a real world opportunity coming through our doors, due in 24 hours. Here's the reference. Here's what they're looking for. Here's the format I need. Here's the deadline. Let's go for it. And then we all work, and I kind of show you guys how I'm doing my tracks. I walk you guys through it. And then when we're done, we do a debriefing, and I kind of say, here's what we're working about a lot of the tracks. Here's what's not working about some of those tracks. And I can tell you, you're not going to get that from anybody in this business. You go work for a library, you go work for somebody else. They're not going to walk you through all that stuff. And I think I got somebody at the door here. So sorry, guys. I have to cut it short because I have somebody at the door and I have a phone call. So I'm getting completely swamped today. I will do another one soon, though, and we'll talk more. Thank you.